I'm Sabrina Zainal, and this is Nightline, news making the headlines. Two brothers in critical condition after eating snacks containing rat poison. And France political chaos continues as Macron rejects PM's resignation. Good morning. We begin with this. The second round of France parliamentary election wrapped up late on Sunday with New Popular Front Party crowned as the biggest winner. However, the political chaos did not end there. France is now in political deadlock after none of the three main blocs won an outright majority in elections for the French National Assembly, with President Emmanuel Macron asking Prime Minister Gabriel Attal to stay on in his role for the stability of the country, despite the latter tendering his resignation on Monday morning. Out of 577 seats, New Popular Front Party, or the Left Party, managed to secure 182 seats, while the centrist Ensemble Alliance garnered 168 seats. The far-right National Rally, RN, and its allies came in third with 143 seats won. This showed that no party had won at least 289 seats, a simple majority to govern, leaving it as a hung parliament. Figures in Macron's Ensemble party have repeatedly said they would refuse to work with France unbowed, saying it is just as extreme and therefore as unfit to govern as the RN. What is certain is that France is set to enter a prolonged period of instability as three opposing blocs with competing ideas and agendas try to form coalition or find themselves stuck in a state of paralysis. With such a divided parliament, there is no hope for major structural reforms at a domestic level. The best the leftists can hope for are ad hoc alliances to vote through individual pieces of legislation.
Everybody knows that these three main parties, the Popular Front, which got the most seats, and also Macron party assembles, and also the far right, National Rally, they just cannot work together. And it's going to be very interesting. It is a hung parliament indeed. It is going to be very interesting how President Macron, how to maneuver it. But this is not the first situation that he faced. Before the legislative election, his party also does not have the majority. Whether there will be another legislative parliament election, no, I don't think so. But Macron has another 3 years to go until 2027. The most probable, if he just cannot work with these three parties, then he will to declare that another presidential election. But I think it won't happen. I think Macron will be in this particular position for the next 3 years until the end of his term. It's going to be very, very interesting, but going to be very difficult to Macron to put out any policy matters to be accepted by the parliament.
The breakdown of votes, however, shows something noteworthy. The RN is currently the largest individual party in France. It has won on its own 125 seats. This means it will be the largest single group in the National Assembly, given that the left-wing alliance and Macron's coalition will each be fragmented. The result is a marked improvement on the RN's performance at the last legislative elections, in which it won 89 seats. A hung parliament means policy making and addressing issues such as public finances could now be difficult. France is facing a huge amount of debt, and the European Union last month said it would place France under an excessive deficit procedure as its budget deficit is larger than 3% of its gross domestic product. In the first round of the election, the RN and its allies won 39 parliamentary seats and topped the vote in 258 of the 501 constituencies that were still up for grabs in the second round. However, their first round win was overturned in 2/3 of these constituencies as left-wing or centrist candidates withdrew from the race to set up a duel between the RN candidate and its closest rival from a mainstream alliance. The strategy has helped left-wing lawmaker François Ruffin overturn his RN rival's 7-point first-round lead in the northern city of Amiens after the centrist candidate withdrew and endorsed him. Meanwhile, the RN was defeated in almost every electoral contest it participated in. It was defeated in 90 out of 152 constituencies against left-wing opponents, in 105 out of 128 against centrists, and in 32 out of 39 against the center-right.
Following the release of the results, the leader of far-left party France En Baude, Jean-Luc Mélenchon, said that President Emmanuel Macron must admit defeat in the parliamentary elections.
La volonté du peuple doit être dorénavant strictement respectée. Dès lors, aucun subterfuge, arrangement ou combinaison ne serait acceptable. En effet, les leçons du vote sont sans appel. La défaite du président de la République et de sa coalition est clairement confirmée. Le président doit s'incliner et admettre cette défaite sans tenter de la contourner de quelque façon que ce soit. Le Premier ministre doit s'en aller. Le président a le pouvoir. Le président a le devoir d'appeler le nouveau Front populaire à gouverner.
Speaking to a crowd of his ecstatic supporters on Sunday, Mélenchon added that the majority has chosen a new direction for the country with the vote, adding that the people's decision must now be strictly respected. The 72-year-old also noted that as early as this summer, decrees can be issued to repeal Macron's pension reform, increase the minimum wage, and call for more pay negotiations, among other projects.
Meanwhile, Parisians expressed worry and uncertainty about the future, a day after elections threw up a hung parliament.
Je pense que la situation inquiète tout le monde pour le coup. Après, ce qui est plus inquiétant, c'est le fait que l'État ne respecte pas forcément la vie des Français en faisant certaines stratégies pour pouvoir faire des blocs, etc. Finalement, l'Assemblée nationale aujourd'hui ne représente pas forcément le vote des Français, mais représente tout simplement une stratégie de l'État.
Pour moi, il faudrait que les différents partis arrivent à... Vu qu'on voit qu'il y a quand même une égalité dans une égalité à peu près dans les différents résultats, il faudrait que tout le monde arrive à créer des projets ensemble et à avancer ensemble parce que ça montre que la France est assez divisée et de manière plutôt égale.
Moving on, Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim has announced a development allocation of 1 million ringgit for the AlUmah Education Complex KPU in Timor near Ipoh, Perak. The Prime Minister, who is also a Tambun Member of Parliament, said the allocation was approved to facilitate the completion of the complex, which is estimated to cost 35 million ringgit.
Anwar said that the allocation will be available within 1 to 2 weeks, adding that the government will thoroughly review the KPU project so that it can be completed on time. He noted that the first phase construction of the complex began in 2016 with an initial fund of 6 million ringgit, which were collected through donations.
Usaha rakan-rakan abi muada pelajar masyarakat sekelilingnya itu luar biasa. Tak banyak tempat yang saya lihat ada kesungguhan untuk mengambil inisiatif sendiri. Sudah mengumpulkan hampir 6 juta ringgit. Ikhtiar sendiri. Ini bawa semangat berdikari.
Anwar said this during his visit to the building site on Monday. Earlier, he toured an exhibition showcasing the progress of the complex. The complex is being built to address the overcrowding of pupils at various learning centers in the district, as well as to accommodate teachers and support staff for 3 institutions after 36 years of operation. They included preschools, the AlUmah Islamic Primary School, Seri, and the Al-Hikmah Madrasa Mada, serving nearly 2,200 people.
During his visit to the Tambun parliamentary constituency, Anwar also launched the National Information Dissemination Center, NTI Smart Services, in Kampung Dato Ahmad, Site Tambahan 2 in Ipoh. The initiative aims to add value to the well-being and improve the standard of living of the local community.
The Smart Service Initiative is a result of the Madani Digital Economy Center conference held in November last year, and this digital service is provided at all NADIs nationwide. The existing programs at NADI have been reorganized by the Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission, MCMC, and are guided by 5 main thrusts, namely entrepreneurship, lifelong learning, self-well-being, awareness, and government initiatives. This reorganization is intended to empower the community and ensure access and equal opportunities to meet the specific needs of the local population. As of June 30th, a total of 75 NADIs have been operating in Perak, with 4 new NADIs established under the One State Constituency, One NADI initiative.
Meanwhile, Communications Minister Fami Fadzil said NADI will extend its programs further afield from its centre to benefit a larger segment of the community. It also aims to enhance digital awareness among the people, including on artificial intelligence, AI, digital literacy, online scams, and cyberbullying.
Saya juga telah meminta pengurus NADI untuk tingkatkan pemahaman masyarakat setempat, terutama dalam isu seperti penipuan dalam talian, scam, isu seperti bagaimana kita nak menangkis fitnah ataupun berita palsu dan mengelakkan diri daripada menjadi mangsa buli cyber.
Fami added that typically, NADI benefits the community within a 3 to 4 kilometre radius of the physical centre. He also mentioned that the government will review and improve the methods of delivering information about new programs and policies to ensure they are clear and resonate with the public. Now, at a separate function, Anwar has emphasized that the government's initiatives to eradicate corruption as well as racial and religious extremism require the collective efforts of all parties. Describing the mission as a major task, he called for the people's trust and support to save the nation from subversive elements which can disrupt the country's stability.
Saya tidak peduli apa orang cakap, tapi saya mau jaga negeri ini untuk semua rakyat supaya dalam 2-3 tahun kita boleh angkat negeri ini jadi baik dalam tahun. Jadi saya minta kawan-kawan bagi kita sama dan ada cadangan-cadangan kemuka dengan baik dan kita cuba selesaikan.
Anwar said this in his speech when meeting the Indian community in the Tambun parliamentary constituency at Chimor Community Hall in Ipoh, Perak on Monday. He also said that additional allocations provided by the unity government to improve the socio-economic status of the Indian community are proof that his administration does not neglect this group. This includes 100 million ringgit to the Malaysian Indian Transformation Unit, MITRA, in addition to distributing 50 million ringgit each to the National Entrepreneurial Group Economic Fund, the Kun Nasional, and Amanah Ikhtiar Malaysia for the Indian community. Datuk Sri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi said he will take proactive steps to address the problems faced by Felcra Berhad and its subsidiaries over the group's increased debt. The Deputy Prime Minister stressed that a committee had been formed to study the recommendations put forward by the Public Accounts Committee PAC to resolve the issue.
At an event in Kuala Kangsar on Monday, Zahid, who is also the Rural and Regional Development Minister, said he had conducted research and discussions with Felcra's Chief Executive Officer and its subsidiaries to resolve the debt problems. The discussions involved identifying any agency or company interested in purchasing a commercial development project at Jalan Semarak, Kuala Lumpur, with the intention of using the proceeds to repay Felcra's debts to the government.
Setakat ini bangunan itu belum dijual, tetapi sebagai menteri yang bertanggungjawab ketika ini, walaupun laporan itu dibuat oleh menteri-menteri sebelum itu, saya mengambil satu tanggungjawab untuk membetulkan accounts dan pelaburan yang ada pada Felcra sekarang ini.
On June 26th, the PAC made 5 recommendations to the government to monitor the high debt issue incurred by Felcra and its subsidiaries. Among the recommendations is ensuring that the Rural and Regional Development Ministry and Felcra exercise greater responsibility and strict regulation of their subsidiaries to generate profits and achieve their establishment goals. The recommendations made by the PAC is expected to be debated in Parliament on Tuesday.
2 brothers, aged 2 and 3, are in critical condition after eating snacks containing rat poison near their home in Kampung Banggul, Barangan, Labu Besar on Sunday. Kulim District Police Chief Superintendent Muhammad Ashil Muhammad Khairi said the boys' mother, aged 25, found her sons vomiting at about 11 a.m.
The mother immediately took her sons to the Malau Health Clinic before they were transferred to the Kulim Hospital. Medical officers at the hospital found the brothers in critical condition, and the boys were later transferred to the Pulau Pinang General Hospital. Investigations found that the brothers likely took a packet of snacks hanging on a wire fence that contained poison intended as a monkey trap. The orchard was believed to belong to residents near the victim's home. The case is being investigated for alleged child neglect. Police are looking for a suspect believed to be the victim's neighbor to assist in the investigation.
A woman has been arrested to assist an investigation into a cyberbullying case that allegedly led to the suicide of a 30-year-old activist and social media influencer. Sentul Police Chief Assistant Commissioner Ahmad Sukarno Muhammad Zahari said the 35-year-old woman was arrested at 1:45 a.m. on Monday.
In a statement, Ahmad Sukarno said the suspect was arrested near Jalan Cempaka 2, Bukit Beruntung Golf Resort, Rawang, and has been remanded until July 10th to help with the investigation. He said police initially received a report from a 39-year-old man on Saturday about threats made against a social media influencer known as Rajeswari or Isha through the TikTok application. Investigations revealed that the incidents occurred at 10:15 p.m. on June 30th and 4:10 a.m. on July 1st. The complainant alleged that he saw 2 postings on TikTok by 2 separate accounts, allegedly defaming and threatening Rajeswari with use of foul language. Both TikTok accounts used pictures of Rajeswari in their background for the videos that were uploaded. Ahmad Sukarno said police were investigating the case under Section 506 of the Penal Code, Section 233 of the Communications and Multimedia Act, and Section 14 of the Minor Offences Act for criminal intimidation, misuse of network facilities, and using insulting or indecent words, language, or gestures administered to disturb the peace or to provoke someone. On Friday, Rajeswari's body was found at her apartment a day after she lodged a police report on multiple threats made by cyberbullies. Meanwhile, Communications Minister Fami Fadzil, who visited the family of the TikTok influencer in Gombak Setia on Sunday, said the issue of cyberbullying on social media platforms will be presented to the Cabinet on Friday to find the best solution, including legal and enforcement aspects.
Thai Marine Police Chief suspended. This and more from the Foreign Front when we return.
Hari pasal pagi surut pukul 5. Hanya bangun pagi saya pakak bunga. Pokok bunga melutang tapi patah. Cik bertelur ayam menetap.
Jenayah rentas sempadan dipantau. Kawalan ketat demi menghalang penceroboh.
Lapor keadaan baik dan terkawal, Wah.
Saksikan 999 Selasa jam 9 malam di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
We're back with news from the Foreign Front. Thailand's Marine Police Chief Priyotipong Nuchanart has been suspended pending an investigation of whether his department allowed fuel smuggling boats to escape detention last month. A source on Monday said the CIB Commissioner Police Lieutenant General Jirabop Buridej signed the transfer order relocating Pritipong to the CIB Operations Center. 4 subordinates at the Marine Police were also previously transferred in connection with this case. The transfer transfer followed the disappearance of 3 boats carrying smuggled oil from a marine police pier in Chonburi province in June. Although the modified fishing vessels were retrieved, their smuggled oil cargo was missing. Authorities are now pursuing an arrest warrant for the suspected mastermind based in Patani. At least 10 people have died and 40 were missing after torrential rain caused a landslide in a gold mine in Indonesia, Sulawesi Island at the weekend. According to the head of the Search and Rescue Office, Herianto, over 100 villagers were digging for grains of gold on Sunday in the remote Bone Bolango district in Gorontalo province when tons of mud plunged down the surrounding hills and buried their makeshift camps. He said at least 44 people managed to escape the landslide, some of them pulled out alive by rescuers. The country's disaster agency, meanwhile, have warned residents that further rain was expected in some areas in Gorontalo province on Tuesday and urged people to be alert. Workers at South Korean tech giant Samsung began a 3-day general strike for better pay on Monday, with their union flagging further action against the country's biggest conglomerate should demands not be met. Now, the National Samsung Electronics Union, representing about 30,000 members, or nearly a quarter of the firm's South Korean workforce, also wants an extra day of annual leave for unionized workers and change to the employee bonus system. The union announced that 6,540 workers will strike this week, mostly at manufacturing sites and in product development. It is understood that Samsung's proposals include flexibility in pay and annual leave conditions, but do not meet union demands of increased pay and leave. Japan and the Philippines on Monday have signed a defense pact allowing the deployment of troops on each other's soil amid shared concerns over China's growing military power. The reciprocal access agreement was signed by Japanese Foreign Minister Yoko Kamikawa and Philippine Defense Secretary Gilberto Teodoro in a Manila ceremony witnessed by President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. Under the agreement, Japanese forces will be able to deploy in the Philippines for joint military exercises, and Filipino forces will be able to carry out combat training in Japan. The pact would only take effect after ratification by the country's legislatures. The deal is the first of its kind to be signed by Japan and Asia and coincides with a rise in aggression by Chinese vessels in the disputed South China Sea. Paul joins Sinner in quarters. Action from the Wimbledon when we come back.
Berpaut pada jalan cerita yang sama.
Dalam masa 3 bulan, korang kahwin.
No way.
Mana ada pengantin lari? Pengantin perempuan dah hilang.
Bukan jodoh kami berdua ni.
Menyatukan jiwa yang selama ini saling mencari.
Awak jangan nak kutuk-kutuk saya.
Kalau tak...
Yelah, tiada besar, baru awak nak kahwin balik.
Tapi tak jadi kan?
Pengantin pasti jadi. Mulai 11 Julai, Khamis hingga Sabtu 9 malam. Terbaru di Lestari TV3. Dan stream juga melalui Tonton.
Kami bertemakan Bollywood.
Kehangatan suasana Bollywood.
Putri tembak tak ada kena.
Putri tembak tak ada kena.
Penuh drama.
Mana ada orang nak goreng kobe sekali dari kuali tak potong.
Ini
semua munafik. Betul. Bukan main ketat lagi.
Tak boleh agak lah, susah.
Confusing.
Ahad ini 9 malam di TV3.
Sports, tennis, the 2024 Wimbledon Championships. American Tommy Paul continued his recent fine form with a straight sets win over Spain's Roberto Bautista Agut to reach the quarterfinals.
Paul won at Queen's Club last month and was too strong for former Wimbledon semi-finalist Bautista Agut. The American showed no mercy as he claimed a 6-2, 7-6, 6-2 win. The 12th seed next faces defending champion Carlos Alcaraz. Earlier, top seed Jannik Sinner eased into the quarterfinals after a straight sets win over American 14th seed Ben Shelton. The Italian world number 1 took the first 2 sets with comfort, but was pushed much harder by Shelton in the third, which went to a tiebreak. He finally sealed his place in the last 8 with a 6-2, 6-4, 7-6 win. Sinner now faces 5th seed Daniil Medvedev. Medvedev had an easier round of play when his opponent Grigor Dimitrov became the second player to retire with injury. Hours after Madison Keys retired hurt in her 4th round match against Jasmine Paolini, Dimitrov injured his knee in the 6th game of the first set. He struggled on until serving at 5-3 down, he could no longer continue. The shocks in the women's singles continued on Sunday with the defeat of second seed Coco Gauff by fast improving Emma Navarro. Navarro, seeded 19th, won 6-4, 6-3, a result which means just 2 of the world's top 10 players are still in the tournament. Navarro now faces Italy's Jasmine Paolini for a place in the semi-finals. Joining Navarro was Donna Vekic. The Croatian reached her first Wimbledon quarter-final at the 10th time of asking after she battled past former world number 2 Paula Badosa of Spain 6-2, 1-6, 6-4. Vekic sets up as quarter-final against either the last British hope, former US Open champion Emma Raducanu, or New Zealand qualifier Lulu Sun.
Attempt to smuggle goods in Kelantan foiled. The details after this short break.
Kau dah sembang dengan awet aku macam-macam. Kau ingat aku tak tahu.
3 daripada 4 tertuduh yang didakwa membunuh pensyarah universiti
meninggal pula dalam keadaan yang tragis.
Mayat telah pun dibakar.
Get ready, ladies. It's time to shatter the stereotypes. We talk career, health, finance, relationships, and everything in between. So grab your coffee cups and wear your sassiest smiles. This talk show is all about you. Catch Women Talk every Saturdays at 5 p.m. on TV3. Stream also on Tonton.
Thanks for staying with us. The Royal Malaysian Customs Department seized around 2.4 million ringgit in smuggled goods across 17 operations in Gua Musang and Lodging Highlands between June 19th and July 5th. 12 locals and 3 foreigners aged 30 to 49 were arrested during the operations.
Its Kelantan Director, Wan Jamal Abdul Salam Wan Long, said the smuggled goods include illicit cigarettes, alcoholic beverages, and rice. In the latest operation last Tuesday, the department seized 3.2 million sticks of contraband cigarettes of various brands, estimated to be worth 2.1 million ringgit. The cigarettes, believed for markets in the northern states of the peninsula, were seized from an 11-ton lorry on the Jeli-Gerik route, en route from Gua Musang. A 49-year-old man was arrested and has been released on bail. The case is investigated under Section 135 of the Customs Act 1967.
In other news, a firefighter from the Pahang Fire and Rescue Department, JBPM, was injured while battling a blaze at a warehouse storing retail goods in Kuantan on Sunday night. The premises at Jalan Bukit Ubi were completely destroyed by the fire, and losses were estimated to reach millions of ringgit. In a statement on Monday, Pahang JBPM Director Datuk Wan Muhammad Zaidi Wan Isa said a total of 26 firefighters from Kuantan, Gebeng and Indra Mahkota fire stations were deployed to the scene after they were alerted to the incident at 9:12 p.m. The flames were brought under control at 10:45 p.m. and fully extinguished after about 12 hours. It was believed that the goods stored in the warehouse were arranged closely together, causing the fire to spread quickly. The cause of the fire and amount of losses are still being investigated. As Nightline draws to a close this time around, let's take a look as highly spirited village football and basketball tournaments heat up in China, attracting tourists from across the nation and beyond to immerse themselves in authentic ethnic culture and sports excitement. With that, I'm Sabrina Zainal. Thank you for tuning in and be safe.